Today, we are talking all about mini sessions, from easily collecting payments to booking your schedule solid and making the most amount of money off each individual session possible. That's today's video.
Keep waving. This is good stuff, man.
Welcome to the studio today. As you can see behind me, and on the wall over here, and the wall over here, and really the entire studio, including in front of me here, has been converted to Lindsay's mini session palace for her spring minis that are coming up in about a week and a half now. I thought I would take a few minutes today to talk to you about my experiences with mini sessions and generating a lot of revenue, specifically kind of in the off-season months that you don't need them when if you're a wedding photographer and you're doing 20 weddings in the summer. You don't really need to do a mini day when you're making revenue, but maybe around the holidays or maybe around this time of year when you're not really collecting any deposits or final payments on weddings or maybe commercial projects, it is a way that you can just instantly generate revenue for your business, which is pretty cool. And we're gonna talk all about that. We're also gonna talk about pricing strategies and also marketing tips. So that is all within here. If you wanna read the description, I put all the text in there today. Usually I don't actually write a proper script, but I felt that it was important to keep this video under 1.5 hours long, so I figured I would make my notes specifically. So if you see me referring to my phone or my computer, that's why. So the first thing is, what is a mini session? A mini session, I would say, is typically anywhere between maybe 15 to 30 minutes in total length, and somewhere between maybe 5 to 20 photos included. So you can, I guess I should preface this all with, these are kind of how we run them and the things that we've seen happening locally, as well as we run a photography group. You can join if you're a member. And these are kind of the trends that we see happening around the world. If you see something completely different happening in your local area, please chime in the comments below. I'd be very interested to hear about it. But typically, mini session up here is somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes and 5 to maybe 20 final photos delivered. You can deliver the every single photo you take on the gallery. There's, again, no rules, but if you want to make the most amount of money, we'll talk about that in a little bit. It is important to keep the parameters a little bit tighter. A mini session could be around a specific event or even a time of year. Holiday season, people need holiday greeting cards, whatever it might be. That's a good time to run one. Maybe Valentine's Day, maybe you're not yet into wedding season and making a lot of money yet, and you can run one then to generate some revenue. Or you can simply do something like fall family photos, which are always a hit, or a summer beach session. There are a lot of opportunities for these sessions. Now you might be saying to yourself, why don't I just run full proper sessions and collect my $3,000 after the in-person sales session? And the quick answer for at least me is that it is a heck of a lot easier to book mini sessions, and you will make a lot of money if you do them properly. I also really enjoy kind of the streamlined workflow and the efficiency that comes with that I can be in one spot. You don't get too crazy with your locations. One spot, you do everything here, you offload everything, you cull everything, use Aftershoot for that to help you get rid of all the blinks and the blurry photos. Discount code in the description below if you're interested. And then you could even run it through Imagine AI and have all of your images edited by artificial intelligence, and it'll honestly be pretty close to maybe a final version. There's some setup time, but you can use there's a full video on that if you want. Again, link in the description below if you want 1,500 images edited for free to at least give it a shot. Use someone else's profile. I use Susan Stripling's profile a lot because I feel like it's a very good baseline edit, and it will give you a very good starting point if you want to add a preset on top of that, or even if you just like it straight out as it is, that's fine too. I would say that's maybe, as far as mini sessions go, maybe those two pieces of software, I wasn't even going to talk about them, those two pieces of software might be the most amazing things ever to happen to us as photographers for mini sessions, because now shooting volume doesn't actually cause you 5 or 6 days behind a computer. All of a sudden, you can have a pretty final gallery maybe within an hour or two. And not only for one of your mini sessions, that's the entire day. There are also a number of other benefits to running mini sessions. You create a lot of client advocates that they're coming back. I would say mini sessions also have a huge return rate. So if you're a wedding photographer, you may see that couple one time and then you're like, see you later. Hope you do a family session with me sometime. Add them to your email list. Let them know when you're doing minis. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to be the photographer that documents the growth of their family over time. And obviously they're going to refer your name for other mini sessions for other friends, but also for weddings and for commercial jobs. If they're a real estate agent, they need headshots, whatever it might be, you are now the first photographer they think of. And I touched on it a little bit, but I would say that the retention rate of minis, so when you do a mini session for somebody, there's a pretty good chance you're going to see them again later in that year or maybe the next year, that people are going to come back over and over again, which is kind of amazing. Especially myself as a wedding photographer, I really don't see, I haven't photographed the same person's wedding 2 times yet, so no return technically, clients. Other things happen through referrals, but not direct referrals for the same job over and over, like mini sessions. We'll talk a little bit more about this in the marketing section, but there is just a huge demand for mini sessions. I find that not a lot of the people that show up to them, or even just in my life, want a full session. They don't need that full hour, 2-hour family session with a huge amount of photos. They would rather have smaller sessions over time than one big session, maybe once every other year, or maybe every 3 years. So let's talk about the best times to offer mini sessions. As I mentioned in the intro, I like to run them around specific events. So holiday sessions or Valentine's sessions or Mother's Day sessions or Easter sessions, I guess. I think a spring session is a better option than an Easter session, but don't let me tell you how to run your business. You can run sessions specifically on like fall sessions. That fall family sessions are amazing. Summer beach sessions, winter ski and snowboard sessions. There are a lot of opportunities. Pet sessions. You can do really kind of anything within this mini style of environment that you find interesting or you think might sell in your area. Now, how to set them up easily. I know a number of you have Focal websites at this point. All right, so here we are within Focal, and Focal has just released this as of, I guess, like 4 or 5 days ago. It makes mini sessions incredibly easy. So the back end of your Focal website, also maybe just a quick mention, if you are interested in getting a Focal website, you don't have one, you kind of got 2 options. That you need a website up here, and you basically just get absolutely everything. It comes with them building a website for you. So all the copy and everything that you need for a website, they'll build it for you. They'll custom build your packages, everything for you. And option number 2 comes with the full backend. So everything that you need to run a photography business. There's full videos on this on the channel from back in January, but essentially it is the easiest backend system for photographers and wedding photographers also. That it's everything you need, nothing you don't. So you sign up for something like Honeybook, it might be amazing. It has so much customizability and functionality, but it's quite overwhelming. I never entirely finished my entire Honeybook setup, and I was overwhelmed with everything going on. This is just everything that you need. There's no learning curve. You see it, you get it, people come by, they find your website, they click the package, they select the date they want, and they put in a booking request for that date. The other, I guess, massive benefit we've seen is how fast people book and actually pay for things. Mini sessions included in this. So if you're interested in getting that full backend, it is $35 a month, and you can just easily do this. So when you do get into the Focal backend, you add a package here, and you actually just select, is this a mini session? Yes. You can upload some photos if you want. You can upload some photos from past mini sessions. This package system also makes it very, very easy to do multiple different styles of mini sessions and make them very clear to what they are, that you can have images from something like what's going on back here and the walls over here. And that is a very clear style of mini session that you're looking for the spring mini session, then you're looking for the park mini session. And they're very, very clear. You can add all your copy down here as well, but we won't do a whole lot of that today. So package name, mini session, and you can put this under whatever subcategory you want here. Hours of coverage, we're actually gonna go to minutes, and we're gonna call it a 20-minute mini session. Add date and time. We're gonna do April 30th, and we're gonna come down here, we're gonna start it at, what do we say, 11 a.m. We're gonna run until 5 p.m. Generate time slots. There you go. Save it. Boom. Done. Minimum number of photos, if you are going to give them a range, so you're gonna do like 10 to 15 photos. Otherwise, you can just do max photos if you're gonna give them 10 or whatever it might be. It's nice to tell people how long. Image is gonna be 7 days to delivery. Maybe you wanna do a little bit shorter if it is around the holidays. You can also do upsales, obviously, into greeting cards or whatever you want. And the price, it's called $300. We're gonna talk more about pricing in the next section here. So 50% deposit down here. This is also auto-generated. Then you can come down here, you can add everything that's included. You can add a description, what to expect. I also forgot to add a meeting place. You can call it whatever you want. Studio on King. That's where we are at right now. And there you go. If you wanna add a second date and time, you can do that. If you wanna add just one for now and then see if it fills up, which I recommend doing, do it that way. And I'll publish this as private. So this way it's not actually showing up on my wedding website, it's just showing up as a private viewable link. Maybe have 2 websites, or you can just open up 2 different spaces for Focal packages if you are in the Focal system. And let's view package. So here we are, selecting dates and time slots. Looks real nice, right? Put your information in, and then they just pay the $150 to secure their spot. You can also do 100% deposit if you want to just collect all the money then, and then boom, it's all booked. And after they've booked, if you are in the Focal system, they'll just appear in your bookings, and it'll be very easy to that's just done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't got to send people PayPal links and chase them which is what I used to have to do, and it was not great. So that is how to quickly set up a mini session and to start accepting payments. That's all processed through Stripe, which is very easy to use. And your money just appears in your bank account, which is nice. Or I'm sure there's other ways too, but at least in Canada, that's kind of how it operates. Next up, pricing strategies. So you saw me just pick an arbitrary number in that setup. There are calculators out there that'll be like, hey, you want to make $5,000 in a day? Here's how to split it up. That, I don't know, $3,000 in fees, so $300 a session, and then you're going to make an additional little bit on each of them. We're going to talk a little bit about that throughout this pricing section. And those calculators, in my opinion, are kind of dumb. I don't really like them. I don't use them. I don't recommend them. What I do recommend is having a look around your town right now and seeing, maybe not physically, maybe digitally, and seeing what mini sessions are typically priced at. There's probably already a market set. If you're going to try to go against that market and you're going to price your minis at $1,000, you're probably going to find a lot of resistance. And also, if you price your minis at $25, people are going to think you're a scammer. Or there's some sort of hidden sale in there that you're going to screw them out of hundreds of thousands of dollars in post sales. And then there's probably something that's already accepted by the market, and it makes sense to fit within kind of those bounds. You can either go low or you can be on the higher side, depending on where you're at and I guess what you're setting up. That if you have a studio, you have multiple different sets. Maybe you're going to be on the higher end. Maybe you can go on the lower end if you're a newer photographer and you just want to set up all the sessions. Again, all of these sessions the people at the sessions will come back to you over and over again over multiple years if they enjoy the experience. So getting people in the door early on in your business with this is very, very valuable. I personally shoot on location when possible. This comes with one unfortunate side effect, which is weather. That if you are looking at the calendar and you got 10 sessions booked and it's going to rain that day, all of a sudden you got to reschedule 10 different sessions and you got to work with 10 different people's schedules, which is very annoying. What I would typically do in that situation is I would open up maybe 2 other Sundays that are available. I always schedule these on Sundays. I'm a wedding photographer. I'm usually booked, especially in nice weather season, on Saturdays. So these are usually Sunday only. Again, you want to give a good customer experience, want people coming back over and over again. The quick way to get around any potential weather is by renting a studio. There's probably some in your area that you can rent. You can rent non-traditional spaces. We've rented a lot of non-traditional spaces. You can partner with a local wedding venue, which if you're looking to become a preferred vendor, gets you in the door there, lets you set up and take some photos. My key is always just to make the space or the venue that you're using as easy as possible. You don't want to do any really complex environments. If you can just go out in a park in the shade, that's awesome. If you can be in here where there's just good natural light, that's awesome. You can rent a studio. You can, I don't know, most wedding venues have an area that is pretty good light. So kind of park yourself in that area at least to begin, rather than doing things that are too complex that'll cost you too much time in post-processing. Get basically everything as correct as you can in camera so that you can really minimize your post or use those AI tools like I spoke to in the beginning. For how many sessions to actually run, I like the number 10. I feel like it seems like a lot. It's a lot of sessions. It's definitely a full day, but it is manageable. If you have a few extra dollars, maybe you're on the higher end of the mini session budget, or you can find someone to help you out that's a family member, a friend, significant other. It is very nice to have someone there to help you out and just to manage your cell phone. People are gonna get lost on the way, even if it's the simplest location and you've given them explicit details. They're still gonna not find their way there. They're gonna show up a little bit late. There's a lot of different things that can be managed. If you're shooting and they're trying to call you, it's much easier to have someone else there to manage that. For actual dollar amounts of what sessions cost, specifically speaking, kind of to here and what I've seen, most sessions kind of range from maybe $150 to $350, somewhere in there, at least in Canada, maybe in the US as well. Again, chime in the comments below if there's something wildly different happening in your local market for mini sessions. I would love to hear about it. What we've seen here is that usually that's kind of how it goes. And if you fit somewhere within there, your price is generally accepted and the market's just not going to reject you completely, and you're not going to end up with a mini session day with 0 booked. Now that mini session fee, at least for my business, comes with a specific number of high-res edited photos. So it might come with 10 high-res edited photos. That doesn't mean that's all we're gonna take. I'm gonna take 50, I'm gonna take 100 that are worth delivering within that time frame. You can get a lot done in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour when you know the space. Or you have some sets arranged that you can easily bounce between and get a lot of variety very, very quickly. And then what you do with those additional images, the people, they know what they signed up for, they paid their $150 and they're getting those 5 images, and they know that each additional image, put it in the focal, the description, make sure that they know. Maybe also include it in an additional email prior to the day just so that they know that each additional image, if they do want to buy it above the 5, the 10 that you're including in the package, is going to be $35 or $25 or $20, whatever you want to price it as. If your session fee, let's say for instance the 300 that I used in the last example there, say for instance your session fee is $300, I like to do a full gallery buyout somewhere around maybe that mark or maybe a little bit low. I feel a little bit scammy if the full gallery buyout is drastically more than the session fee. I've never felt personally comfortable selling that. If you do feel comfortable, like by all means, don't let me tell you how to run all the pricing in your business. But what I like to do is if the session fee is $300, a full gallery buyout is gonna be $200. And that means that mini session, I'm gonna say maybe 50% end up converting into that. So a mini session is now worth $500. You do 10 of them in a day, that's $5,000. And as I mentioned, please be completely transparent that this is the pricing model that they've signed up for, that this is what a mini session is for you. The basic idea is that you wanna convert any of the couples, any of the clients, any of the families that come in for these mini sessions into lifelong clients. You want to be with them for the next 5 or 6 years. Maybe they're coming to see you 1 or 2 times a year over that time, rather than just going for that quick sale that's going to leave kind of a bad taste in their mouth when they leave the experience, and maybe they're never going to come back after that. Go for the long-term sales. It's going to be better for your family session business within your business, as well as whatever your main business is, if it's commercial photography or even family photography. To speak specifically to family photography, if you are somebody that also runs a family website, I would be pricing your regular packages up a little bit, knowing that you're going to be kind of discounting to this mini session price. So if your regular family session is $750 and a mini session is $300, that's kind of close enough. That's like a pretty significant discount. But if your regular hour-long session fee is $350 and your mini session fee is $300, there's not going to be a whole lot of incentive for people to go to a mini session rather than the full session. So make sure that there is a bit of a gap in there. Now it is time to bring some people in the door. If you did go through Book More Weddings 2022, which is kind of my flagship wedding photography marketing course, it's available to all members right now. If you sign up, you get instant access to it. There was a section in there about building an email list. And that email list is super critical, I think, over time. Obviously, year one, you're not gonna have an email list to just kind of blast to be like, hey, I'm doing a mini session day. But if all of the people from the first year and maybe a couple of your wedding clients end up on your email list, and over time, you'll begin to generate maybe even, I would say, an email list of 100 past clients will very quickly book you 1 or 2 mini session days if you're running 10 sessions a day. So definitely make an email list. And I know it sounds like it's 2001, but it's very, very important, I think, in the mini session game. Next up, you're gonna wanna build some social media ads. And I don't know, so templates are pretty easy to find around the internet. If you're interested, maybe let me know in the comments if you want me to do a template section for the members website. Right now there is a template for a welcome guide, as well as a lot of different, there's gift certificates and a number of different things over on the members site that you can use right now, and they're fully editable both in InDesign and also in Photoshop. But currently it's all wedding specific and there's no mini session style content up there. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to get some of that out in the next couple of weeks. And what I mean by that is templates that you can just use easily. You can find some on the internet right now, I'm sure. Canva is a good place to start, or I guess Photoshop in general if you're skilled in Photoshop. What I would say though is definitely make them part of a moving situation of some sort. As you know, if you're on Instagram at all, that it really just penalizes static images. It's not going to show them to nearly as many people as you would like. So if you're able to include those into a reel, or you're able to include those into a video story of some sort, definitely do that. You're going to find a lot more success in your marketing. And also when you go to boost those posts, you are going to find that they go a lot further for your dollar, rather than trying to boost a specific there's also, I guess, in Book More Weddings 2022, there's a full Facebook ads section where it kind of goes through how I boost posts and how to actually target locally and how to target the correct people locally. You might be like, Facebook, that sounds terrible. Why would I be on Facebook? No one's on Facebook anymore. And the truth is the 50+ crowd is massively on Facebook right now. They're probably the key demographic on Facebook. And the amazing thing with that as marketers is that you have access to basically everyone's like mom and dad, and they're going to buy them for their family. I feel like that was in Book More Weddings 2020 or maybe 2019, where we talked about building ads specifically to target that group. So you're not aiming at the bride and groom, for speaking to weddings now for a second. You're not targeting an ad at the bride and groom, you're actually targeting it at their mom or dad to get passed down to them and to get that internal family referral. And it was surprisingly effective. It was a bit of a joke. It was a bit of a, I wonder if this works, and it did. It worked very, very well. So don't be too limited by how you're thinking and targeting within your local area. You're going to probably find some pretty good success, and the tools are definitely there for you to find those people. I think one of the keys with mini sessions is scarcity. So that there's only 10 available, that people are going to jump at those pretty quickly, that there's 10 available and they're at a discounted price. People want deals on things and people are very motivated by time-sensitive offers. There's 10 available. Those could go in 5 minutes. Those could go in 10 minutes. So definitely queue it up with a pre-release. Don't just be like, hey, mini session day, everybody come through. You'll find that people will come through, but it's not as effective as the beginning. If you do a good pre-release and you rely maybe on that email list going into year 2, and you get people very excited and knowing that these mini sessions, that there's 10 available, they're gonna be released at 10 a.m. on the 10th of the month. People are gonna be there waiting and actually refreshing their browser, waiting for these mini sessions to become available. And you will notice that a lot of them are gonna sell out within the first couple of minutes. I would say for a pre-release strategy, do it over time. It's not just a one-day thing. Don't just be like, hey, mini session's coming out tomorrow. Make it a bit of a lead up, especially if you have other clients following you on Instagram, maybe past wedding clients or commercial clients. A lot of commercial clients have families, so even if you've done a headshot session for a real estate agent, there's a pretty good chance that now they know you as a photographer, you've delivered them some pretty good images, and all of a sudden they're going to be very interested to bring their family in for a mini session or to meet in a park somewhere for one. So that's kind of the cool thing, that you're no longer just specifically, I guess, again, speaking to wedding photographers, there's a very limited window where you have to reach someone, and it's usually about a 2-week window between the time that they become engaged and as they're booking a venue and booking a photographer. Maybe it's a 2-week process, sometimes it's maybe a couple of months, but there is a very limited window. With mini sessions, there kind of is no window, that this window is now wide open, and it is all people that live in your local area that would trust you to take their family images. And I can guarantee that most of them are probably out there on Instagram or on Facebook at least maybe once or so a day. And if they're not, that's why you have an email list and why you build an email list over time, to not be at the mercy of an algorithm, that you are now in control of when and where you reach people, that you can just email them and that's done. Rather than being like, I hope that people see this. Oh no, I didn't post it at 9:33 a.m. on a Tuesday. No one saw my post. It's much easier just to be like, hey, gonna send people an email in the morning. And there's a pretty good chance that if they are past clients, you're probably gonna see like a 70, 80, 90% open rate on that email, and probably a pretty good click-through as well. But say you don't have that email list yet, my key is really the paid ads, that you can put things out there on your Facebook or Instagram and try to promote it as best you can. But when you start putting some dollars behind it is when you will start seeing some dramatic results. Another thing that I'll speak to, if you are on the Focal marketplace, so if you've built your packages on Focal, again, head on over to the link in the description there. So you've come over and you've built your backend on Focal, and you built the package like I showed you in this video. All of a sudden, if that's a public package, it's going to be on the Focal marketplace, which means that if people are searching for a photographer in their local city, they're typing in wherever they live, you are going to be the person that pops up. And you will also notice that on the Focal marketplace, you'll be ranking organically on Google as well. If you're doing mini sessions, you've named them something specific. So I would recommend something that people would be searching for. Some mini sessions in Toronto would be a good example, or like spring mini sessions in Toronto, and then maybe a bit of a descriptor after that. So if people are searching for that on their computer in Google, you are going to pop up because people are searching for mini sessions. So there it is, mini sessions. Grab that Focal backend setup if you're interested in just basically, I would say the easiest way to set up mini sessions, it's a couple of clicks and you're done. Payments, everything all included in that, as well as it just schedules everything very nicely for you. The backend is very specifically the easiest photography backend of any of the systems, that it's so simple to set up. You just log in and you pretty much understand everything that you need to do. Your contracts are all in there and it's very, very easy. Drop any questions down below and I'll be happy to get back to them, or other people can hopefully get back to them. Or if you're a member, head on over to the members group and drop any questions in there. And there's a lot of great like-minded individuals that are there that will be willing to help you out. No problem. That's all for today. Thanks for joining me here in the studio. Tomorrow, I don't know. There's gonna be a thing tomorrow, I bet. It'll be out and then you'll see it and that's the story. Still don't know how to end these. Been on YouTube since 2007. And yeah, I don't know. How do you end a video? Like this, right?